Hello, my friends. Hey, this is Charles Brady's first poetry show here on YouTube. And I did this before last year on Facebook Live, but it looks like I'm going to try to read poetry and share it here on YouTube. And this is my very first time, and I thought I'd give it a test try. And I wanted a William Stafford poem, and it's called At the Bomb Testing Site. All right. At noon in the desert, a panting lizard waited for history, its elbows tense, watching the curve of a particular road as if something might happen. It was looking for something farther off than people could see, an important scene acted in stone for little selves at the flute end of consequences. There was just a continent without much on it, under a sky that never cared less. Ready for change, the elbows waited, the hands gripped hard on the desert. All right. Okay, my friends, I'm going to read one more poem because that was a pretty short poem. And I got a new anthology here that I'm going to be reading from. And it's got everybody in it. I mean, it is the real deal. This is the thing, okay? So I got some great poets in here, and I'm looking forward to reading poetry with you from this book. Since we finished the last book on the Facebook Live, we finished the last anthology that I had. And this one seems to have, well, it definitely has more poets, but it's more modern. That other one had older poems in it, I guess. All right. I want to read an E.E. Cummings poem next. And it's called Next to, of course, God, America, I. Next to, of course, God, America, I love you, land of the pilgrims and so forth. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early country, 'tis of centuries come and go, and are no more what of it we should worry. In every language, even deaf and dumb, thy sons acclaim your glorious name by gory, by jingo, by gee, by gosh, by gum. Why talk of beauty? What could be more beautiful than these heroic, happy dead, who rushed like lions to the roaring slaughter? They did not stop to think, they died instead. Then shall the voice of liberty be mute? He spoke and drank rapidly a glass of water. All right. So many poems here, you know, and I'm looking forward to discovering new poems with you here on this, okay? So I'm going to try this again. One last poem, and it's by County Colon. From the Dark Tower to Charles S. Johnson. We shall not always plant while others reap, the golden increment of bursting fruit, not always countenance abject and mute, that lesser men should hold their brothers cheap, not everlastingly while others sleep, shall we beguile their limbs with mellow flute, not always bend to some more subtle brute. We were not made eternally to weep. The night whose sable breast relieves the stark white stars is no less lovely being dark. And there are buds that cannot bloom at all in light but crumble piteous and fall. So in the dark we hide the heart that bleeds and wait and tend our agonizing seeds. And I'm not sure what that poem was about. But sometimes poems take a while to take time to get, I guess. All right. I'm going to read a William Carlos Williams poem, then I'm going to sign off and see how this, the very first Charles Brady poetry show goes. Okay? So this is a William Carlos Williams poem, and it's called Tract. I will teach you, my townspeople, how to perform a funeral for you. Have it over a troupe of artists, unless one should scour the world. You have the ground sense necessary. See, the hearse leads. I begin with a design for a hearse. For Christ's sakes, not black, nor white either, and not polished. Let it be weathered like a farm wagon with gilt wheels. This could be applied fresh at some small expense. With gilt wheels, this could be applied fresh at some. Time out. I'm gonna read this poem again. Okay. It's called Tract. I will teach you, my townspeople, how to perform a funeral for you. Have it over a troupe of artists. Unless one should scour the world, you have the ground sense necessary. See, the hearse leads. I begin with a design for a hearse. For Christ's sake, not black, nor white either, and not polished. Let it be weathered like a farm wagon with gilt wheels. This could be applied fresh at small expense, or no wheels at all, a rough dray to drag over the ground. Knock the glass out. My God, glass, my townspeople. For what purpose is it for the dead to look out, for us to see how well he is housed, or to see the flowers or the lack of them, or what? To keep the rain and snow from him? He will have a heavier rain soon. Pebbles and dirt and whatnot. Let there be no glass and no upholstery few, and no little brass rollers and small easy wheels on the bottom. My townspeople, what are you thinking of? A rough plain hearse then, with gilt wheels and no top at all. On this the coffin lies by its own weight. No wreaths, please, especially no hot house flowers. Some common memento is better, something he prized and is known by, his old clothes, a few books perhaps, God knows what. You realize how we are about these things, my townspeople. Something will be found, anything, even flowers, if he had come to that. So much for the hearse. For heaven's sake, though, see to the driver. Take off that silk hat, in fact. That's no place at all for him up there, unceremoniously dragging our friend out of his own dignity. Bring him down, low and inconspicuous. I'd not have him ride on the wagon at all. Damn him, the undertaker's under trapper. Let him hold the reins and walk at the side, and inconspicuously too. Then briefly, as to yourselves, walk behind as they do in France, 7th class, or if you ride hell, take curtains. Go with a small show of inconvenience. Sit openly to the weather as to grief. Or do you think you can shut grief in? What from us, we who have perhaps nothing to lose, share with us. Share with us. It will be money in your pockets. Go now. I think you are ready. And that, my friends, is Charles Brady's poetry show. Thank you and good night. Live long and prosper. Peace be with you. And enjoy your week or next few days, and I'll be back in a few days. I'm figuring out the schedule for the show, and this was the very first official show that I did on YouTube. So we'll see what happens. And by the way, that painting behind me on the wall, I painted, and I have a lot of art on my website, charlesbradyart.wordpress.com. And I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. And my emails are, I'm at charlesbradyart@gmail.com. And feel free to email me anytime about art, poetry, life, or the show, or whatever. So, okay. All right, guys. Live long and prosper. All right.